there, friend. Welcome to my little yarnchix news episode. I do these sporadically on and off, especially if I've got announcements to make that consider this podcast or consider my crafting and making efforts that are communal. So, I mean, what better timing to hop on here than early April, I guess. My name is Mimi. I live and work in Berlin. I'm a shop assistant in yarn stores, sort of local yarn stores here in Berlin, and I support people with their choices. I do support with colors, support with yardages, and the occasional what yarn could we use for this pattern kind of mathematics. I am a mother of 3 children, and I used to have a dog which sadly passed away exactly a year ago, and she's still very missed. Now I kind of podcast without her. She used to kind of hop on my lap and be part of this, and I still find it hard, for example, to watch podcasts that involve other animals because I just kind of, I don't know. Side note, it doesn't matter. This dog was my love, and she's no longer here. I decided to surround myself with all the kind of project bags of with the project bags of my current projects. It's a vast amount of whips that have hardly been touched. Some of these projects are resurfacing after some neglect. I might have kind of just pushed them to the back of my cupboard of whips, and it's really good to pick them up and think about them. I have some admin to begin with, then I wanted to talk about my Patreon page and all the craft alongs that are about to start in the yarnchix podcast groups and Instagram community. I just about sent out all the prizes for Magic 3 Mile 2021, so all the category winners that I announced late 2021 will soon receive parcels of little presents, things from my some treats I wanted to share. Some of them are stash yarns or little things that made me think of you. So I'm happy to say that one is wrapped up as we're approaching the 1st of May, which is our cast on day for Magic 3 Mile 2022. It's a make along where we craft for children, our own, relatives like family members, friends, neighbors. We could even be crafting to donate. It's totally up to you, and I understand it's also some people feel funny about making young people's items because of loss or sadnesses, so that's also it's just free to join for whoever wants to join, let's put it that way. And I am excited because I really enjoy crafting these sets of 3 items, which is tops, bottoms, and a toy. And then we create flat lays so that they're kind of, created as an image of 3 items together, which I always think we've had such amazing sets in the past. So feel free to meander through this hashtag and find out a little bit more if you've only recently joined this page or don't know what I'm talking about. The hashtag really speaks for itself, and in a way already knitting something for that, because I'm getting ready for my other summer knit along on the YouTube channel, which is linomukakal knit along, the linen yarn that we sell at Wollen Berlin, where I work here in Berlin. And I host a craft along for summer tops and items made with linomukakal throughout summer. This year it's going to be super open and free to all your craftings. In previous years I've always had a kind of featured design, and I haven't managed to organize any of this, and I kind of feel like leaving it open much more. I have a huge stash of leftover linomukakal colors, bits and bobs, so I'm gonna definitely be using some of that. And I've recently picked up my crossover project. Oh, that's not the bag. Which bag is it? This bag. I've recently picked up the crossover project that double dipped Magic 3 Mile and linomukakal knit along, because it's a children's top made from linomukakal. It is the Parachutey, and look how crinkled it is. It's just sat in this bag since last year. I finished the front of this Stephen West very airy top, and I have got on the needles, luckily still, so I don't have to scavenge or work out what gauge I had, the back. So these will be connected here. Front and back will be connected, which creates some kind of small shoulder strap here. In the first child version that I made, I actually knitted a little I-cord to extend this to make a bit of a bigger hole, because shrinking the pattern and using 100% linen means it's actually quite a small gap, and it needs a little bit of extending here at the top. And yeah, I've done about a third of the back. And I wanted to use this kind of vintagey stripe feel. And then, I don't know, at some point I was like, it's going to be very, it's going to be 3 colors, and I actually enjoy using all sorts of colors. And I made one of these Parachutey child size tops that actually I can also wear like a small little summer top. And yeah, that was multicolored. So recently I found all my linomukakal color. This is like a whole bag of linomukakal bits and bobs that I have gathered through the years, because we had some, which is what I used in the mini Parachutey, some on cones, which basically wouldn't have made a whole skein when we used to wind these in the shop. And so when we knew, oh god, this is only 20 grams, we'd keep it on a cone for us to use for, whatever whatever project was calling for it, or we used it to put little note tags on like samples in the shop and stuff like that. And then I wound some kind of smaller balls from said collection, and I've got some full skeins that I would have bought with a project in mind and just used a little bit off for the other Parachutey, as well as some wound mini skeins, because we in the local shop, so here in Berlin, you can buy mini skeins, which we started doing when we realized we'll always have some left on the cone. We started to make these small tiny little skeins, and they cost €1, and we don't sell them online, we just sell them locally in the shop, because it would just be quite tedious to yeah, and also register all of these. That's kind of like a brick and mortar bonus you can get. And yeah, I bought and wound this luminous pink, for example. So I'm going to pour this all out in front of my feet. Something else fell out. Luckily it didn't smash. The ceramic bomb. this, I was looking for this peachy apricot, and I want to actually add that in as a color block next. And who knows, maybe it'll go over to this. So I'm kind of changing the design because I've felt less inspired to continue as I had set off. So I'm gonna play with these leftovers and get back into the pattern, and then I will hopefully have something already on the go when we start. I'm excited. Linomukakal starts. Linomukakal starts on the 15th of April and it runs all summer, so let's say until the 15th of August, and we will knit along with the linomukakal. Often, just like in this pattern, you hold the linomukakal double, so you use 2 strands. So I always make these small hard balls, or in this case I made a little mini cake, and then the linomukakal cake you can knit from the inside and outside, or here I will make 2 of these hard balls and then knit holding the yarn double. That's what most often happens. This is the gauge of this as well. And this year for myself I've decided to make the Flutter Butt set by Jessie Mae. Jessie Mae Designs has the most amazing, luxurious, sexy and fun wear, and it can be seen as loungewear or underwear. She makes incredible self-made bra patterns, no, knitted bra patterns, that's how I should say it. And I just love it. I love this Flutter Butt set, and I'm gonna knit it. The top will be knitted from this, which is the Dusty Rose colorway, and for the bottom I've recently brought home the yarn and I just saw I have a whole skein. This is Beetroot. So the Flutter Butt tee will be in the Dusty Rose, and the Flutter Butt shorts will be in the Beetroot colorway. So just imagine this as a kind of pajama set, 100% linen. I will love myself this summer when I have this to lounge and sleep in. And I just thought, you know, why not make something which is like a joy for me, and I have. So I think that was my admin. I have a Patreon page where you can support my podcasting and you get extra content. So there is vlogs. I recently uploaded a week with Mimi, which was a February-March crossover. So end of February, early March weekly vlog that I filmed and then edited. I would have just about shared the Tiny Tea episode 2, which is something I make with my little child who enjoys like making tea and enjoys vlogging. I think she really enjoys this kind of playful project we started, and I'm super happy for anyone who chooses to support me there. I have different levels of how you can support me, and you can just support me with $1 and you can get all the blogs, all the written content throughout the spring and summer season. I, for example, go and visit some gardens locally, or I share recipes from time to time. I share some of my zine making typewriter art, and I share some thoughts on zine making in like little letters addressed to you or openly, maybe even to myself. So the blog is kind of the entry level, and then we have a vlog where I, like I said, share extra content like the tea vlogs or a daily vlog or project-based vlogs. I haven't done one of those last month, but I did one in January which was all about a blue wool and mohair sweater that I knitted, and that took some time with, so I made a project vlog about that. And I will probably do a project vlog in April, so I'm excited to share a bit more about a big project which I can show you now. I finally found a point to turn directions on this massive habitation throw. It will be actually quite a big square, and I recently made recorded some footage out in our shepherd's hut, and I took some pictures of it, so it's kind of more spread out because I'd added like a bit of spare yarn here to work out how long it is, and afterwards I put it on this much longer needle because it was so squashed before. I think I showed it around here near this purple stripe. And I've ended up adding 3 more stripes, and every time I was knitting the stripe, at the end of the stripe there's this point where you can turn to then, you know, start the decreases, and every time I kind of knit past the point I was meant to start decreasing, and I was like, ah, well, just another stripe. So it's growing and growing, and it'll be really big. I started this from Stashwent, which is our annual swap in the podcast group. Whoever wants to join, making a countdown calendar from Stash for someone else, and then also receiving a Stashwent calendar made by another person. Yeah, that's kind of what we do. People register around September, October. We start the conversations about that. So, excitingly, all of these beginnings here were already knit in December. Obviously there's smaller rows, and all the yarn up until here were gifted through the Stashwent calendar of last year by Frauke, who has an Instagram account called Mandelpotet Pimpernel, and some gorgeous yarns. I'm so grateful for Frauke's amazing yarns, and I've added some stash that kind of goes with it, because there was Lopi. I now started using my Lopi stash. Then there was Wulapik, and I had a skein of Wulapik. I've added that, and I also got some friend gifts from Nora, for example. She has a yarn dyeing company called Kiezgarn, so she's given me a mini here for Christmas. This is Hinterhaus, the colorway, and yeah, so I've kind of added in colors. I'm now knitting a Kiezgarn colorway that was a collaboration between me and Nora. This colorway is called Liebeswedding, which is the longer version of my abbreviated Instagram handle. Liebwed is Liebeswedding, which translates to dear wedding or love you wedding, and it's like a homage to where I live, the Kiez I call home. And this colorway is kind of like crumbly graffiti walls of my neighborhood and all the colors I love, and I am so excited to knit a stripe. This is actually the time I managed to start the decreases, so it will be the central stripe, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm also casting this on in a lightweight sweater, another Jessie Mae designs, because I basically went and bought lots of patterns through her pay hip. So I bought the Cozy Classic Raglan Light, and I will knit this from Liebeswedding Kiezgarn. Yeah, and I am just so in love with this stripy project. I will make a project vlog about that this upcoming month, or well, I've got footage about it, so I might as well use that and add a little bit more chatter about it later on. So I hope you're nosy about that. I'm also starting a lot of mending projects. I think I might have I brought some here? Oh yeah, one is actually I started at Next Pinguono, and I wanted the back square to be this color, and now I've run out of this really cool rainbowy sock yarn, and I decided I might want to frog it and make it into something else. I know it's a bit silly, but this project, these stitches got me out of a knitting slump about a year ago, and I'm in a similar knitting slump. I mean, I'm constantly knitting on projects, but it's the projects that I already have. I have a bit of a cast on slump, which is funny because usually I really love that kind of quick joy of casting on. I have millions of knit dreams, so it's a wonder why I haven't cast on. But I was thinking to maybe frog this back, because I realized if I was to make it this small, so if I make it a child size pinguono by Stephen West, he calls it a pinguino, then I would have enough for the back panel in this colorway. So I might go back on this Marled Magic train, because if I was to carry on now, for me, I would obviously have to add maybe another half, and it'd be this kind of color block back, and I just like, this is definitely a mend as in a frog, and maybe re-knit with less stitches for a child size pinguono. That's definitely something. I have to mend lots of socks. And so the mending will actually become part of my next zine project, and that is the next tier that I still have up in my Patreon. Sorry, in my Patreon page. So we have the blog, the vlog, and the next one is zine, and I'm gonna change that, and I potentially have already changed it into letter news. So it's gonna be mini zines and smaller, like, snail mail items that I will send through this subscription, because the zines are just a bigger project, more tedious, and more, they have to come, especially collecting all these different things that go into it, have to kind of come naturally to my craft. And I'd realized at the end of last year that the deadlines had kind of pushed it into this kind of COVID stress fog, and I'd stopped enjoying turning my attention to zine making, and really that isn't what zine making should be, or at least I don't feel like I want my zine making to be like that. So I'm changing it. It'll still be snail mail, there'll still be zines, because I've produced mini zines in the past. Like, we had a mini zine subscription when I started Patreon fresh, that there was like a monthly zine, and I used to make like slapdash fun small zines, like this one. That is my mini zine about my dog's illness and my grief and kind of my history with her. And yeah, so I made zines just like this in this Zenist subscription, and they will now come zines like this, and the first one will be a mending one, and I'm hoping to send that out in April. I sent out different things in the past, like in the summer I would send out postcards, and there's other things that have come in the mail through that tier, and it will continue to be a snail mail or mail magic tier, and I'm excited for that. Alongside that, all subscribers get 20% off all zines that I publish and will sell through Etsy. You can always browse my Etsy shops. There's some zines up there, but there will be new ones coming as well. And last, but very much not least, there is the Zenist tier, which is people who really want to support my art and, you know, my podcasting and the time and effort I spend. They can subscribe to the Zenist, which is regular but not monthly extra podcasts. So there will be one coming in April, because today's the last day of March. I can't promise that it'll be this month. It'll basically be in April. I will record kind of a podcast before recording the true yarnchix podcast, so you get kind of the behind the scenes or in between stages podcast. It might involve a bit of vlogging because I do enjoy that. There is content, basically a little bit more content, and definitely some kind of product testing, because as part of the big mending zine, so the yarnchix zine number, what am I on? Number 12 will be mending. It'll be called Mending Mountain, because it'll involve lots of different mending projects that I want to record and talk about. There'll be some kind of technical stuff as well as interviews and moments about other people's focus on mending, and there will be like research, as in like a reading list and all sorts of different inputs onto it, as well as maybe other content. There'll definitely be a knitter snack and my very political, a bit edgy knitter's chalkboard, which is like just me scribbling thoughts that are currently vibing through my stitches. So yeah, I'm excited alongside that to also develop a brand new pin. I don't know if you know that I make, or I have crafted a pin that was a charity pin with all profits going to Sea-Watch crew. And with my Patreon income, I can actually in April, with this income, I can actually fund a remake of the Sea-Watch pin and start this up again. However, to produce the pins, it takes a month, which makes sense because I will at the same time produce a brand new pin that will come out alongside the mending zine. So I'm very excited to be pin crafting and designing in April, and then the products will be ready in May. And my Patreon zinists will be the first ones to get a little gift from me, which will be the new zine that the new zine they will be able to have, but they also will have the new pin. That's what I wanted to say. And I'm excited to work on these kind of products. I make a hand balm, for example, and there'll be more ideas coming forward and becoming true this year. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, and that I wanted to share. Oops. I had to change the setup briefly because the camera had gone out of battery, and I just wanted to quickly also say goodbye and thank you for your time. I'm gonna sit and knit a little. Maybe you can stay around and knit a little bit with me. It's so good that I can do this podcast, and I can't thank you enough for your visits, for your subscriptions, for your likes, your comments. And if you are supporting me on Patreon, or if you can imagine doing that, I can't thank you enough for that. It really helps me keeping on with going to sit down and edit, and there is so much that this year will bring for me that I'm excited about. First things first, the knit alongs, and then a swap and all the kind of crafting and community that comes with both, like knitting along and yeah, the conversations going alongside of that. So my utmost gratitude for your time and your care, and I hope you have a brilliant day today. Maybe there's some sunshine for you, maybe there's some snow for you, maybe there's some wind or some rain. In any case, I hope you have some time for yourself, and that, yeah, you're well. Lots of love from Berlin, and speak very soon. Bye bye.